And welcome back. Fubar here, and today we have an exciting video. Today is a video for 9.1 and the top mistakes players are still making within Warpath, because as you know, a lot of changes have been made, and hopefully within the patch 9.1 update with all the optimizations, that this will actually straighten out a lot of the issues players have been having. So, we're going to start with the very first once the connecting to server comes back. I'm sorry for this inconvenience. Please bear with me. Man, cue the elevator music, huh? Anyway, so the very first mistake, which was mentioned in the first video, but it still carries over to this very day, is not doing your homework as far as units. You have an incredible resource here that explains the camps and the camp buffs, okay? And what everything does and what makes them different and what is the camp buff and how it is applied. Okay. And you actually have on this very same building unit manuals, which explain in detail the actual unit features and camp bonuses to each and every single unit in the game. Here we are using infantry as an example. And the same goes over to the modern units. Now, another thing that is a major mistake is people are not utilizing the buff tab. Now, you don't really need to focus so much on the economic, it's more so important about the actual military aspect. And the two major ones that you want to focus on here and keep track of is actually the damage and damage resist. And you can also focus this down so you know what your bases are and your base damage. Very helpful, and not a lot of people are utilizing this. The next thing that you need to do, and that is not being done, is actually taking the time to read the info tab on each and every single building that you have. And the reason why this is so important is because there is hidden buffs within these buildings. For example, right here, we hit this at level 32 right here, we're actually getting a troop firepower increase for any troop that is deployed in this barracks. And the same thing goes for hangars, okay? So this is a very big deal that people are not utilizing. The next biggest issue that I am seeing is people are not playing in their proper battleground tier. Sure, you want to play at the top dog legendary 1, but you may not be ready for it. You may not actually have the real amount of the IRL time to invest in the game to play at that tier of activity. So you need to play where your activity level suits. So you might be gold 1 or you might be gold 3. Hell, even I, with how busy my life is right now with making videos and playing the game and my family, because I have 3 children and a wife, I actually have to lower my tier down until my life slows down a little bit so that way I can actually function and be a member of my family and also be able to create content. So, you guys may be able to relate with that because you probably have to go to work or spend and you want to spend time with your family. Now, the next biggest mistake I'm seeing is that you should be actually leveling these barracks and hangars one at a time. When I say one at a time, I mean like you take one building and you level it all the way up to level 32, and then you start the next one. Okay? The next biggest mistake that I see people doing, and it's totally worth, is they do not invest in the RSS buildings. These RSS buildings actually generate a pretty good passive income for you, so that way you always have a steady stream of resources. So if you have a little bit of an issue, well, and you couldn't log in for 8 hours to actually, send out your RSS trucks, well, these little RSS buildings here will actually net you right around. mm, I want to say 33.6 million resources every 8 hours. Granted, it may not be as much as the RSS trucks, but it's still very good to still get something than nothing. The next issue that I've been seeing, and is a pretty big one, is people are still spreading out their research a little bit too much. Okay? And when I say they're spreading out their research a little bit too much, is that they'll go in here, and as you can see right here, you got industry, I got max, city honors, I have max, military, I have max. And right now, as you can see, I'm currently working on maxing out advanced combat. And when I run out of city contribution badges, I throw in research into my basic city defense. And then once that's done, I will go back to modern war. Okay? The very next issue that I'm still seeing to this day is unit building issues. And this is mostly aimed towards the newer player who is still learning the game. I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button. And this is, like I said, aimed towards the newer player. Instead of building a unit to 7 stars, right, which is 2 gold stars right next to it, you should actually be aiming to build that unit to 7.1. To get to 7.1, you need to build 3 of the same unit and of the same camp. And then it's 7.1. Then you need 3 7.1s to get it to 7.2. Take the time, build that unit to a minimum of 7.1, whether you're breaking it down for prototype pieces or you're going to be using it as a filler or it's going to become your main unit. You want to focus on that. Get that to 7.1, then start your next unit. It's okay to save your 5.5 stars units. Let me just clarify what is a 5.5 star. This is a 5.5 star. Okay? Now, it's okay to save them so that way you have them to use later. But focus one unit at a time, and once that's built, go to the next, okay? The biggest thing I'm seeing right now that is a big issue, and it's dealing with L4s, is utilize the restricted battlegrounds. A lot of people are complaining about being, say, oh, Silver 1. I just saw a Facebook post on it. They go into Silver 1 and they're thinking, okay, well, I'm gonna have fun here. It's tiered for the low player. No, it's actually, if you're in unrestricted, any member of that server can join that alliance to play in that battleground as long as they meet the power requirements. So that means that player could be 500 million power and you're 60 million power. That means you're in for a rough time, and that 500 mil base has just become Bubba, and you're the guy that just dropped the soap. Don't be that guy. Play in restricted. Reason why you want to play in restricted is because everyone is held accountable towards their power level. So when I'm saying power level, I mean like they are all units, for example, Silver 1 are capped at 8.1 units and they can't go higher. They can't go past that. So the maximum abilities of that unit is the max of 8.1 and the walls are capped at 100 level 150. So you're not going to, they're not completely indestructible. They're still going to be very tough because of tech, but they're not indestructible and you still have somewhat of a fighting chance. The next thing you should be actually doing and utilizing, because we don't know how long it's going to be in the game or if they're going to pull it out because they said it wasn't a test run, is the reverse engineering. What you should be working on right now is and taking advantage of is is the reverse engineering, and you should be working on your camp buff. Reason why? If you are playing the game right now and you're a veteran player or even a small player, you should be building towards your camp buff. And the why I'm saying that is because it's towards your end game. You're going to want to bring the best possible loadout in your eyes towards that end goal. Another thing is that now that there is restricted events, now the one unit, raise that to max if you're playing in restricted, no longer applies. Do not follow that old content creator propaganda. I even mentioned it in the last video. it no longer applies to that. If you're playing it unrestricted, yes, then you're gonna want to max one unit at a time. But if you're in restricted, you want to, spread everything out amongst multiple units and bring them to their max potential each and every one. For example, look at my army right here. I'm going to be playing in Silver 1 because I'm doing an experiment and developing my camp buff. I want to see how long it takes for me to actually climb the tiers to get up to Legendary 1 with the camp buff. So I'm in the process of converting over. But right here, as you can see, all my units are 8.1 maxed out and they're good to go. Now, the very next thing we need to discuss on this is the fact that people are still building parts or pulling parts improperly. You should be pulling 10 blueprints at a time, and it increases your ratio of pulling Gold Plus and Gold Plus Plus. Okay? But I still need to do further testing with the part materials because since they added in modern wrenches, things have changed, and I have not been able to fully gather all that data, which takes time to gather. So please bear with me on that. The next thing that a lot of players are actually neglecting to do is building bonds with players in the game. Be respectful, be humble, and be polite. Be friendly because the more friendships you build, the better your gaming experience will be. Because you're going to be able to talk to people and collaborate with people so that way you can actually figure out and solve problems on your own. It's one of my big things in life that I actually follow, and that's to be humble and be polite and kind to everybody because knowledge is power and everyone knows something that you do not, and they all have something to bring to the table. The next thing you should be aware of is that you do not need city titles to be successful in this game. They help, but they're not required. So don't fight over city titles. If you get one, that's great, but if not, you're going to be okay. The next biggest thing that people are doing wrong is they are improperly investing their gold. Your gold should be going to possibly three places. No, four places at most, okay? So, one, it should be going towards your VIP level. Two, it should be going to the slot machine event that 44 Mag discovered about a year ago. With that event, if you save up 400k gold, you can get unlocked for free one gold plus plus part. Number three, the VIP store. The VIP store, if you're going to be in there, what I recommend that you actually spend your gold on is wrenches, possibly unit coupons, migration tickets, and that's it. Everything else, I would not invest my gold into. The fourth thing that you should be investing your gold into is the lucky wheel. If you still have enough gold, you should be investing in the lucky wheel. It's a fast way to get roughly 100 statues per month for 125k gold. So you invest 125k gold and you get about 100 statues. You do not have to do this, but you can. Also, one other thing I would buy in the actual VIP store is Air Force refined components. Those are a pain in the butt to get, and they are worth your time. So as you can see right here, my VIP level is 15. The minimum VIP level I recommend you get to is 14 if you're a free-to-play player, and your goal should be 16 minimum. Right? So you want to get to 14, then to 16. And then after you hit 16, your next goal should be 18 and then 20. And then I would stop because it gets so ridiculously hard to upgrade as a free to play player past 20. It'll, it's just, the numbers are just ridiculous. The next thing that you need to understand about this game is that Warpath is a marathon and not a sprint. Okay? So when I say that, that means take your time, think your thoughts through carefully, and then think about it again. Okay? The reason why I say this is because you're going to try keeping up with a spender, if especially if you're a free to play player, and it's not going to work. So what you need to do is think ahead and plan accordingly. For example, everyone chases the meta. You should not be doing that. Why? Because the meta will change again. So right now, like the current meta is helicopters, but now we're seeing a large influx of light tanks. Once that's done, you're going to see a large influx again of MBTs, and then it's going to balance out between those right there. But now we're seeing infantry be added into the mix, and once this is all balanced out, which it will, then then it's going to be up to you to figure out where you want to be. Okay, which brings me on to the next point. Learn your play style, learn the units. Play with each and every single unit. It could be a 4-star unit. Play with it, see if you like how it's operating, if it's rolls, right? Learn the play styles. If you want to, if you see which one you enjoy more. If you enjoy blowing up bases, by all means, go blow up bases. Tailor your loadout for that. And if you enjoy field fighting, then become a field fighter. I'm a field support base defense guy. That's what I enjoy, and that's what I'm going to do. However, I am going to be building separate armies from different camps to do the other roles that I want. For example, I'm going to use martyrs for base to base, and then I'm going to do a full base to base defense loadout for Vanguard. That's just an example. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like the video, comment on the video if you think there's some other mistakes out there that I actually missed, and you should add in so that way other people can get more value out of this content. And please subscribe to the channel. It helps me, it helps you, and it helps everyone else, okay? This is Fubar. I got your 6. Have a great one. Peace.